The one question I get asked repeatedly is, what is my recommendation for a good kitchen knife? Also, do you really need a knife block set? If you want to know, keep on watching. What's up, universe? It's Julie here and welcome back to our channel. So let's jump right into it. Do you really need a knife block set? The short answer, in my opinion, is no, I don't really think you need one. Kitchen knife block sets do look great on your counter, and they do have some convenience knives that come with it. And if you're really into those steak knife sets and everything else, then by all means, go for it. I'm not poo-pooing on it. I'm just saying that I don't personally own one because I like to just handpick my individual knives. So even if you don't need a knife block set, you do need a knife kit, and this is what you need inside of it. If you don't feel like buying any of the other knives that I mentioned, then just invest in a good chef's knife. And you honestly don't have to blow your budget for a good one these days. Now, what to look for is a high carbon stainless steel knife. Now, carbon steel is considered superior to stainless steel knives by a lot of chefs because it can retain its edge longer. But for a home cook, I actually prefer stainless steel, high carbon stainless steel. Carbon steel, even though it does hold its edge longer, it tends to rust if you don't take care of it properly. Like if you leave it a little bit wet. So it's a little bit more high maintenance. So stainless steel is my practical go-to. Now, these days, most knives are catching up to the Japanese style knife, which means that they're thinly sharpened blades to a 15-degree point. And back in the day, a lot of European knives or American knives would be sharpened to a 20-degree point, so they were considered less sharp. But these days they're catching up and they're all doing about a 15 to 17-degree blade. But just look out for that. And then also it should feel lightweight in your hand so that you can reduce hand fatigue. And the handle shouldn't really have grooves or bumps. It should have more like a simple design so that you can choke hold it or hold it any way that you want without it getting in the way. Now, with that said, you might have seen in my previous videos, I used to always play around with this knife. And I still like it, even though there are bumps and grooves and curves, and I think it's beautiful. This is my Yoon Ken Onion, which for some reason they don't make anymore. So I'm sorry if you really like this knife. However, I do recommend Yoon in general. So if you're looking for kind of an impressive quality knife and you're not afraid of the price point, this is definitely on the more expensive price point. And I will leave the link to the knife that I think is most closely represented by this knife. It's the Yoon Classic 8-inch chef's knife with Paka wood handle. And I'll leave a link to my kit where you can look into detail of all the knives that I recommend after this video. I'm also a huge fan of Kyocera ceramic. And I say Kyocera because there's a lot of ceramic companies out there, but this is the one that I really stand by. So I just got this as part of a knife set. This one is not an 8-inch. There's one that I'm keeping my eye on, and it has a black blade, which I think is so beautiful, but that is an 8-inch chef's knife. And this one happens to be about 6 inches, but it's still bigger than my Santoku, which is about 5.5 inches. And this has been my tried and true blade for over 10 years without breaking, because a lot of people are worried that ceramic knives are so fragile that they'll break or crack or chip. But honestly, if you take good care of them, wash them by hand, store them correctly, this has been going strong for 10 to 12 years already. And I've taken this on food styling jobs and professional outings. So yeah, they stay sharper for up to 10 times longer than standard stainless steel knives. And then there's the question of how do you sharpen it? No, you can't use a standard sharpener that you would do for stainless steel knives. But with Kyocera, you can send it away for free sharpening. You just have to pay for the shipping, I believe. But I've actually only sent this one away once in the 10 years that I've had it. So it does stay sharp for a really long time. Another good chef's knife that comes at a very affordable price point is the Mercer Renaissance Forge riveted 8-inch chef's knife. I don't personally own this, but I know a lot of people who do use this knife, this brand, even in professional settings. I think price will fluctuate, especially as you buy it on Amazon, but I think it'll be about under $50 for this great knife. But I will say my current favorite right now is this guy that I showed you in the beginning. This is the Victorinox Swiss Army Fibrox Pro 8-inch chef's knife. You'll be surprised that it's so affordable and yet such good quality. The handle is not made out of wood, like my Yoon is made out of like solid wood, but I actually like it that it's made with this lightweight handle, and it does reduce hand fatigue, especially with extensive amounts of cutting. I did use this throughout my whole Thanksgiving marathon series, and I've been using it every single day for all our meals for the last several months, and it's been holding up really well. The next knife you need is a serrated bread knife. So sometimes these are called serrated, sometimes they're just called bread knife. The terminology is interchangeable. So what you're looking for is, it needs to be a decent length. I think mine is actually a bit short. This is the only one that I own. I recommend this one too. This one's great. But the one that has great reviews and I'm eyeing for myself is the Mercer Culinary Millennia 10-inch wide bread knife. What you're looking for are fewer, broader, and deeper serrations so that it'll cut through your foods evenly without shredding them apart. Now, the purpose of a serrated knife is to handle those more delicate, gentle foods, like things with tender interiors, such as squishy tomatoes, loaves of bread, things like that. Anything that will take a little bit of extra tender care. And an ideal length is about 10 inches because you want to be able to handle all of those cake layers when you're cutting into it, big loaves of bread. This one is a little bit shorter, but it still works for me. Why I recommend this one as well is because I have it and it works well, but it also comes with fun colors and its own protective sheath, which I find is very helpful because it helps you to store it and protect the blades and your fingers when you're fumbling around for it in the drawer, but you can also take it to go. So I think that's convenient, and it's also super lightweight with a plastic handle. Now we're going to talk about a paring knife. A paring knife is essential for detailed work. So that's scooping, scoring, peeling, anything that you really need a little bit of extra help. But a blade of a paring knife shouldn't be more than about 3.5 inches long. It's more about how does it feel in your hand, how smoothly can you move with it. And you also want it to be sharpened to, again, a 15 to 17 degree blade. And so this one I like. This is the Victorinox Swiss Army Fibrox Pro 3.25 inch paring knife. Why I like this is because it is definitely at an inexpensive price point, but it performs so well. It's been holding up really well to the point where when guests come over and try it out, they comment on how sharp my paring knife is. I know that sounds funny, but for being so inexpensive / affordable, I think it's a great buy. I happen to get the yellow handle just because I wanted to, because it's fun. And you know what's really funny? I was digging through some of my old drawers and I found that I already owned one. I'm like, what? I think I got this as a gift from a food styling job. Because when you do food styling gigs, sometimes they give away their pots and pans and kitchen tools at the end of a job just to say thank you as a reward, because what are they going to do with it? And I think that that's where this came from. And I was like, what? It's from Victorinox. There's lots of other brands that I could recommend, but I like the fact that it's so affordable. So let's review. The only 3 knives I think you truly need to start is an 8-inch chef's knife, a serrated bread knife, and a paring knife. And then I think you're good to go for most tests. But also in your toolkit, it's essential to have kitchen shears. Now, the ones that I'm going to be recommending is not this brand. This is something that I got in my toolkit when I was in culinary school, and it's been with me forever. I'm also working with another company right now that might be sending me affordable kitchen shears, so I'll try that out too and see if I like them as well, and I can always update the information on this video. And in case you're wondering, do I have to pause this video and frantically scribble down everything that she's saying? No, you don't have to, because I have it all written down in one place. We'll leave a link for you down below in the description box. I have for you the ultimate knife guide for the home cook, right? So it's pretty much a recap of everything that is mentioned in this video, plus a couple of extra bonus things and maybe some other suggestions for different knives so that you can make your best educated choice, and it'll have all of the what to look for and everything like that. So all you gotta do is go to the link, sign up for our mailing list, and then you get that for free. So going back to kitchen shears, you will use these guys for pretty much everything. They'll come in so handy for snipping herbs, cutting kitchen twine, butterflying a chicken. but you want to make sure that they're very comfortable. And if you are left-handed, you want to make sure that the handles are even so that they're not one over the other, and you have to make sure you get a left-handed scissor. You want pull-apart scissors so that they come apart for easy cleaning. Otherwise, food and gunk and rust can get all stuck up in there and won't dry properly. But at the same time, you don't want them to fall apart so easily that as you're cutting, you're worried that if I open them too wide, they'll just fall apart. You got to make sure they have the right amount of tension. The ones that I'm recommending just have great reviews and are reliable brands. The J.A. Henkel's International Take-Apart Kitchen Shears, and also the Wüsthof 8-inch Take-Apart Kitchen Shears. This one also comes with the steel tooth insets in the handle so you can twist open bottle caps and such. The last item you need in your kit, which I think is essential before you start adding all these little things, is a honing rod. And again, I cannot recommend this actual brand because this came in my culinary school kit. You can tell because I put a drop of nail polish on here. That was so that I could distinguish between mine and all the other students. Now, honing rods don't sharpen knives. So sometimes they're mislabeled as sharpening steel, or you can say I'm using a steel. But the thing is, they don't sharpen. They actually just remove burrs off of the edge of a blade. Because as you start using it, little burrs come off on the side of your blade, making them a little bit less reliable. So then you hone it to take those burrs off. And then you want to do this before your knife starts feeling really dull. It's kind of like a preventative measure between sharpenings. What to look for? You want one that is about 12 inches long, because standard chef's knives are about 8 inches. So you want to be able to swipe the whole length of your knife on it. And the method that I recommend for honing a knife is called the vertical honing method. So you just take like a damp towel on your cutting board, and then you place your honing rod tip down. You don't want to like do it up in the air like this, like other chefs, unless you're really experienced. But the most effective way is to put it tip down and then run your whole length of your knife down your honing rod at a 15-degree angle. And you do that a few swipes and you're good to go. So that's why you want it to be 12 inches, fairly thick, so maybe even thicker than this, and it doesn't taper off to a point so easily. The one I'm recommending, I just found it a few times mentioned in different reviews, and it also has great reviews on Amazon. So it's the Utopia Kitchen 12-inch honing rod. It's at an inexpensive price point. It's made out of carbon steel, but also plated in nickel chrome. So that means the fine surface of this steel rod will be effective, but it won't be too abrasive. And then this is kind of interesting. Again, I don't own this one, but I find it to be unique because I'm noticing that a lot of chefs will prefer a ceramic honing knife. The one that I'm recommending is the Idaho 12-inch fine ceramic sharpening rod. So the rod is made out of ceramic, which is good because it guarantees it'll be a smooth surface and not too rough. So according to the reviews, it is still effective but gentle. Now, once you have your basics covered, it might be a good idea to add on a few extras, and that's only if you want to get more serious and more advanced in your cooking. So I recommend a slicing knife, and this is also interchangeably called a carving knife. So again, this happens to be from my chef's toolkit. And so I'm going to recommend one that has great reviews, and I actually am going to keep an eye out to buy next because it seems so good that I actually want it for myself. It's the Victorinox Swiss Army Fibrox Pro 12-inch Granton Edge slicing/carving knife. What a Granton Edge is all these little scallops or indentations that run along the knife. Because these little indentations break up resistance when slicing through, this will create nice even slices, whether thick or thin. And it will do that while keeping it a little bit more intact, like it won't rip all the skin off while you're cutting through the chicken breast, things like that. You're looking for a taller, longer, and more narrow blade so that it has more flexibility but not too wobbly. And then also one that has kind of that rounded tip. And also it should feel comfortable in your hand. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This is why I'm recommending the brands like Mercer and Victorinox. And then speaking of Victorinox, if you want to invest in something extra, going back to paring knives, I also recommend this Victorinox serrated paring knife. And so if you look closely, it is a paring knife, but it has the little serrated edges. I just use it for more fine work that I know it'll guarantee slice through it. So like if I'm cutting like cherry or grape tomatoes, scoring through an avocado. So think about delicate, soft-skinned, fleshed fruits and vegetables like kiwis. It'll just help you to have more control over that. And also, I love this guy with the serrated edge. In fact, I love it so much, this guy has been with me forever, and I tend to give it away as gifts. Like whenever my friends would help me out with cooking events or things like that, I would just give them as a gift, and they say they love it too, they still use it. I love that it has its protective sheath because I take it on the go sometimes when I'm trying to cut up like fruits and things for Lincoln, on picnics, and it's been so reliable. It stays really sharp because of the serrated edge. Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about knife blocks. After all that, if you still feel like you want a knife block, I don't blame you, because sometimes these knife blocks come with the knives that I recommended and then some. So go for it, by all means. If you have the counter space, it's your style, you can commit to one brand of knife for everything, go for it. So I will recommend the Mercer 6-piece forged knife set with tempered glass block. I think this one is so unique. It's not like the traditional wooden block. It has a tempered glass, it stands the knives up vertically, and it does come with a good selection of knives that you need. And it does come at a decent, I would say like inexpensive to moderate price point. I think the tempered glass and slim design is modern and eye-catching. And although it does come with most of the basic knives you need, it doesn't come with a honing rod, kitchen shears, or a slicing knife. So I would consider adding that on, at the very least, the honing rod and kitchen shears. On the more expensive price point route, I would recommend the Yoon 6-piece slim knife block set. This is a traditional knife block set, but I do love the color of it, the way it's stained, the way that the wood is slim design, so it looks very modern, and it doesn't come with all the other random knives I don't think you really need. Again, it's reliable knives, quality knives that will last you for a long time. In a nutshell, what I used to say to describe Yoon knives is that they're kind of like samurai swords. They use a similar technology of like folding the steel multiple times. So this one's about 34 layers on each side, and it comes with the pack of wood handles, which again, it's resistant to moisture, it's lightweight. It does come with the basic knives that you need, including the kitchen shears and the honing rod. I would consider adding on a serrated knife and a slicing knife because it doesn't appear that it comes with it. But again, it is a slim design, so it doesn't have all the steak knives and things. I have another honorable mention. This is a knife set, which I thought was so cute. I recently got this, and I'm so excited to use it because it comes with your basic ceramic knives. It definitely comes with a starter kit for a beginner cook, someone who's interested in cooking for the first time maybe. It's a good introduction. It has a chef's knife, a serrated tomato knife, and a paring knife. So I think that'll get you going. I think this is a good little set to give away as a gift, a hostess gift, or anyone who's just starting to get into cooking. And I feel like I can't end this video without talking about knife sharpeners because I just recently purchased this one and I haven't given it a try yet, but I watched and read through a lot of reviews to come to the conclusion that this was probably one of the better knife sharpeners. This is an electric knife sharpener. This is the Chef's Choice Trizor 15 knife sharpener. And this is definitely at a more expensive price point because it has these 3 different levels of sharpening. So it starts out stronger and then goes into a finer grit and then polishes. And it has these guides so that it keeps your knife from going at the wrong angle and wobbling. And yes, you can do manual too, which I will give you a recommendation, but when you have really bad chips or nicks or you have a lot of knives to sharpen, the electric tends to work better because the abrasives contact your knife at a higher speed. This one in particular can also convert a 20-degree knife that I talked about into a 15-degree. So you can be using it for different styles of knives. It is not just for the Japanese style or the European, and sometimes knife sharpeners tend to be knife specific. If you want to save a little bit of coin and also space, manual sharpeners work well too as long as you get the right ones and you read the reviews and study what you're looking for. The one I'm recommending is the Chef's Choice Pronto Manual Diamond Hone Asian Knife Sharpener Model 463. It comes at an inexpensive to moderate price point. And again, it's convenient for storage, so you can put it away easily. And you just have to use a little bit of muscle. It has the 3 stages of sharpening for 15 to 20 degree knives, diamond abrasive wheels, and then it features a soft, firm grip so that it's easy, it won't move around on you. Once again, all of the descriptions, links, everything is in the description box in my kit, and also the link to sign up to get your free ultimate knife guide for the home cook, where it's written down in detail and also the links to the actual products as well. It's all packaged up for you, my little gift to you. You just gotta sign up for our email list, and that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below if you personally own any of these knives, or if this was very helpful because you were on the search for different knives as well. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to push like, leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell for notifications so you know every time we post a video like this one. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.